the Children's Program Coordinator here at Lillooet Public Library. Welcome to Virtual Storytime. I'm thankful to be here today on the territory of the St'át'imc people. This week we are going to learn about space, outer space. Do you like looking at the stars in the night sky? Have you ever wanted to be an astronaut? Today we're going to read two stories, one from a real live astronaut, and another about an imaginary tour through outer space. We'll also sing some fun songs. Let's get started. Did you know that Earth is just one planet in our solar system? We travel around the sun with 8 other planets. After Earth, moving farther away, there's Mars, the red planet, and Jupiter, the gas giant. Let's stretch together, and you can repeat after me. Follow along with the actions. Bend and stretch. Reach for the stars. There goes Jupiter. Here comes Mars. Bend and stretch. Reach for the sky. On your tippy toes, oh so high. Shall we do that one more time? Follow along. Bend and stretch. Reach for the stars. There goes Jupiter. Here comes Mars. Bend and stretch, reach for the sky. Stand on your tippy toes, oh so high. Thanks. This first book I want to read you is written by Chris Hadfield, a famous Canadian astronaut who's lived in space for 5 months. This is about when he was a kid and afraid of the dark. Are you afraid of the dark? I am a little bit. This is The Darkest Dark, written by Chris Hadfield, illustrated by the Fan Brothers, and published by Penguin Random House. And this book takes place about 50 years ago, just before men had first landed on the moon, 1969. The Darkest Dark. Chris was an astronaut. An important and very busy astronaut. When it was time to take a bath, he told his mother, "I'd love to, but I'm saving the planet from aliens." When it was time to get out of the bath and go to bed, he told his father, politely, because astronauts are always polite, "Sorry, no can do, I'm on my way to Mars." An astronaut's work is never done, so astronauts do not like to sleep. But their parents do. "You're a big boy now," said Chris's father. "You have to sleep in your own bed." And Chris tried, he really did, but his room was very dark. Very, very dark. The kind of dark that attracts the worst sort of aliens. But his parents meant it. Chris was going to sleep in his own bed tonight. His mom and dad checked under his bed and in the closet and even in his underwear drawer. They declared the room 100% alien-free. They tucked Chris in. They turned on the nightlight. They even gave him a special bell to ring if he was nervous. Clang, 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 clang. They took away the bell. And then his father said something that worried Chris even more than the dark did. "One more peep, young man, and I'm afraid we'll all be too tired to go next door tomorrow." But tomorrow would be a special day, a very special day. Chris had to go next door. His life pretty much depended on it. So Chris stayed in his own bed without a peep. It took a long time to fall asleep, but when he did, he had his favorite dream. He flew his spaceship all the way to the moon. Chris and Albert. Albert's the dog. The next day seemed to last forever, but finally, when the moon was shining over the lake and the summer wind was ruffling the leaves in the trees, Chris ran next door. The house was already full of people, all gathered around the TV, the only TV on the whole island. Chris found a spot where he could see through the crowd, and what he saw was astronauts, real live astronauts, on the actual faraway moon. They were wearing puffy white suits and jumping for joy, jumping so high because there was so much less gravity there. The grown-ups huddled around the TV were amazed. Their whole lives long, they'd never expected to see this sight. Even Chris, who had been to the moon just the night before, was amazed. He'd never really noticed how dark it was there. Outer space was the darkest dark ever. And him and his family went outside to look at the stars and the moon together, where the astronauts were. That night, Chris did a little experiment. He turned off all the lights in his room, even the nightlight. It was still dark. Very, very dark. There were still shadows that looked a little, well, alien. Nothing had changed. But Chris had changed. He'd seen that the darkness of the universe was so much bigger and deeper than the darkness in his room, but he was not afraid. He wanted to explore every corner of the night sky. For the first time, Chris could see the power and mystery and velvety black beauty of the dark. And he realized, you're never really alone there. Your dreams are always with you, just waiting. Big dreams about the kind of person you want to be. Wonderful dreams about the life you will live. Dreams that actually can come true. This is the International Space Station where the author, Chris Hadfield, lived and worked for 5 months. Let's see a picture of Chris. There you can see him and in his astronaut suit. And there's his dog, Albert, which we saw in the book. Isn't that a cool story? Let's sing a song about going to space. This one is sung to the tune of Where Have You Been, Billy Boy? Feel free to snap, clap, or pat along. Tell me where have you been, astronaut, astronaut? Tell me where have you been in your rocket? I have landed on the moon, and I may return there soon with the space station that will help me dock it. Tell me what did you do, astronaut, astronaut? Tell me what did you do in your rocket? I took pictures of the stars and the craters found on Mars, and I brought home moon rocks in my pocket. Tell me where have you been, astronaut, astronaut? Tell me where have you been in your rocket? I have landed on the moon, and I may return there soon with the space station that will help me dock it. Tell me what did you do, astronaut, astronaut? Tell me what did you do in your rocket? I took pictures of the stars and some craters found on Mars, and I brought home some moon rocks in my pocket. Let's do one more song. This one is to the tune of the Itsy Bitsy Spider. It's called the Spaceship Song. So I'm going to grab a little spaceship that I drew. This one's put together by Nursery Rhymes TV. It goes like this. Climb aboard the spaceship, we're going to the moon. Hurry and get ready, we're going to blast off soon. Put on your helmets and buckle up tight. Here comes the countdown, let's count with all our might. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off! The last book I'm going to read is called Starseeker, A Journey to Outer Space. This is sort of an imaginary tour through the solar system, visiting different planets and stars. It's written by Teresa Hain and Victor Tavares and published by Barefoot Books. I think you'll really like the pictures. I'll hunt with Orion, we'll stalk the dark night. On the bridle of Pegasus, we'll trap a gold light. Pegasus and Orion are both constellations in the night sky. Means a collection of stars. Orion is the hunter, here with his bow. Pegasus is a flying horse. With my lunar lasso, I'll loop Saturn's bright rings and brand all his moons with the mark of the wind. Here is Saturn, the planet. I'll bake ginger cookies on Venus's soil, stir up her volcanoes, and watch them all boil. Here's Venus, one of the hottest planets out there, with volcanoes. I'll seize blue Uranus, then teach him to fly. Like a frisbee, I'll fling him across the night sky. Another blue planet, way far away. I'll spin like a pinwheel through the Milky Way's froth, take a ride on the Great Bear, and never fall off. Have you ever seen the Big Dipper constellation in the sky? It's part of a bigger constellation showing a big bear in the sky. With the zigzag of lightning, I'll spark Pluto's light, and fireworks will blaze in the dark of the night. I'll dive like an arrow past swift Mercury. He's faster than thought, but he'll never catch me. I'll steal Neptune's winds. Round his rings I will whirl. Across his dark spot like a cyclone I'll swirl. Here's the planet Neptune. I'll swim across Jupiter's gigantic gas sea, then thread up his moons on a necklace for me. Jupiter is the biggest planet in our solar system and it has many moons. Like a comet, I'll zoom over Mars's cold crust and spy on his mountains and valleys of dust. From the bright star of evening to Earth I will glide and drift through her gravity just for the ride. I'll snooze on Earth's moon, and when the night is done, I'll hitch up the North Star and follow the sun. Wasn't that a fun book? There's so much to discover about the universe and the night sky. If you'd like an activity to follow up this week's story time, why don't you draw a picture of the solar system? If you're really little, you can practice drawing some circles for the sun, the Earth, and the planet Mars, and some stars in the background. And if you're a bit older, you can practice drawing all 8 of our planets, and 9 if you include Pluto, the dwarf planet, with the sun lined up in a row and some stars in the background. If you have black paper, that would be even cooler because you could use chalk and draw on top. And if the sky is clear tonight, you could ask your parents if you can stay up late or wake up in the middle of the night, go outside with them and look at the stars in the night sky. Well, it's time to go now. Thanks very much for listening to Virtual Storytime at the Lillooet Public Library. Tune in next Thursday at 10:30 for a new program. Instead of a goodbye song, let's finish with the classic nursery rhyme, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. I think you'll know this one. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. All right, goodbye. See you next week.